one more stimulus check for you. Can you guys believe that?
Really?
And it's not in the form of like our previous stimulus checks, like these beautiful checks we used to get. Some of us got them in the mail. Some of us got direct deposit, and some of us got a little debit card.
Yeah, I got that.
Stimmy money. But this time around, Fannie Mae, which is an organization or basically they're one of the biggest that has to do with, mortgages on behalf of the government. They recently said, let's just put it like this. Imagine that you guys own a house and its value has gone up. Pretty much everyone the last 3 or 4 years. Let's say you bought it for $500,000 and now it's worth $1 million. So it's grew by $500,000. Okay. Now Freddie Mac, which is a big company in the housing market, they want to offer you a new loan. Let's say you already have a loan with Wells Fargo. Let's just say it was for $500,000 at a 3% rate, whatever. Well, Freddie Mac is like, hey, Josh, I know you have a $500,000 loan with Wells Fargo, and I see your house has almost doubled in value. Do you want to take out another $500,000 or $100,000, $200,000 in that value that it's increased? And here's what. We'll give you the same interest rate that you have on your mortgage with Wells Fargo, but you could use that money for renovating your house, to go on vacation, pay off your debt. What do you want to do? Buy another house. Now, it sounds great. It's basically like a home equity line of credit, right? A HELOC. It's pretty similar to that. But the problem with this, and it's going to entice a lot of people.
Who would it?
Oh my God. Of course I would. But the thing is, your mortgage, your equity in your house is literally, for the average person, that's the only form of actual net worth that most people have. So your future self is hoping and banking on the fact that you will pay off that house and that house will be worth a lot of more money than when you pay for it. And in comes Freddie Mac and says, I'm going to take that away from you. Your future self is not going to have that net worth anymore because you know what? Instead, I'll give you that money now. And I'll give it to you in the form of a loan. So that asset is now becoming a liability. The whole purpose of buying a house is now being destroyed. And why are they doing this? Because this is a way for them to avoid a recession. Again, it's another form of stimulus, stimulating the economy by giving all these people free money. But it's not free money. It's only going to cause what? House prices to go up even more. Yeah. Everything to go up.
Well, like you were saying, this is only going to affect those who have houses. You know, so either boomers or older generations or those that got really lucky and for some reason they bought a house early, and who would have thought we would have been in the world that we are today? So those people are going to, like, if I was I could see parents be like, hey, son or daughter, you need a down payment assistance. I could give you this for, low interest rate of 2% or 2.5 or 3, so I could see that. But yes, it's only going to make inflation worse because that's just going to inflate houses even more. So if you thought houses are expensive now, yeah, they're definitely going to rise after this.
Yeah, and it's crazy because they already did the stats and they know that Fannie Mae launched this. Here's the thing. In a report that was published by Bank of America, they calculated that if Fannie Mae launched a product like this, it could do close to $1 trillion in second lien mortgages. That is insane. So they already know that it's not like, $100 million. Like it could potentially be up to $1 trillion. That's second lien. So if you don't pay that loan, they could potentially take the house. They're putting a lien. It's just like when you buy a car and there's a lien holder, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, whoever give you the loan. So that's scary.
And for those who want to understand, what does that mean? It's basically like,
if you don't pay the loan, they could take away your house, or if it's a car, they could take away your car. So it's not a good place to be in. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, what's going to happen if we do hit a recession and let's say they pulled out equity of their house for this loan to be able to do whatever they had to, either buy a car, update their house, vacation, blah, 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 pay off debt if they do that. What's going to happen if the house is dropped on value?
So let's just say that's the worst thing that a lot of people are saying.
Even just 10%, let's just say.
If it drops, you're not going to be able to refinance because when you refinance, it's like getting another loan. And they're going to be like, no, we can't give you the loan to cover your old loan because now your house is worth less than what you owe. So you're negative. And that's what a lot of realtors get wrong is they tell people date the rate, marry the house. And
you're going to make a lot of enemies.
I'm sorry. I have friends that are realtors. They know this. That if you buy a house, especially with the high interest rate, and they're like, no, it's okay. The rates will go down. But what if there's a little correction? Even just a little correction, 5-10%, when you put that down, when you're paying your payments, especially with high interest rate, barely anything is going to the principal. You won't even be able to refinance, even if the rates go down. You're going to be stuck with that high interest rate. I hope you guys know that, because if there's a little correction, and yeah, okay, I can refinance, but your house is worth less than what you bought for it.
Even just 10%. Remember, we're not talking about like a
we're
crazy drop.
Yeah, we're not saying 50% drop, even 5%. If you're gonna have to make up that difference. If you have the cash, you could do it, whatever, that's up to you. But you're going to have to pay that difference. I'm not saying you can't. But imagine you have to refinance and you got to put $50,000, $30,000, $40,000 just to refinance. Yeah, you're saving long-term because you're on monthly, but most people don't have that. They already put all their money for the initial down payment. So you have to learn about these things. Don't talk to a realtor about buying a house. Is it a good time to buy a house? Of course it's in a good time. They're always thinking that mentality. Is it right for you? Because yeah, there's right times for some people, right for other. But look at your finances and remember, if the economy starts to do bad and you got that high interest rate, and then the rates go down because they're trying to fix the economy, stimulate the economy, right? They drop them down to 3%, but you're stuck at a really high interest rate and your value of your house went down. You won't be able to refinance. That's the thing a lot of people don't talk about. You'll be stuck.
Yeah. And that's the part that's kind of sad, because a lot of people are putting like this thing is going to put their house kind of like, hey, if something goes bad, here's my house.
Two loans.
So it's like, man, if like, let's say it does go bad, Fannie Mac is going to be owner of a lot of houses.
Yeah. It's going to be like that.
The rich are going to get richer. And
own nothing, but whatever they say.
You own nothing, but you be happy.
Something like that.
Yeah,
you own nothing, but you'll be happy.
Economic Forum. Yeah. So, in other words, you shouldn't do this. Is that what you're saying? Or be careful.
I'm not saying you should or shouldn't. I'm just trying to educate you guys what it is before you get into it. Me personally, I would never do it because it's just like I'd rather just save up the money if I need to do anything. If I'm in a pickle, if you need to borrow money to build an emergency fund, no. Don't do that, please.
You're really in a tight area, right?
Like, there's some people that are like, okay, they borrow money because they're going to add an ADU. And automatically that ADU is going to add value. The value is going to go up and cash flow. That's the most important thing with real estate. It's not value appreciation, because you're just guessing the value is going up. Cash flow is going to come in. It's going to come in.
Yeah, like if people get this and either get new cars,
which is what's going to happen.
Get expensive housing appliances, but doesn't add any value to the property or to your business life or anything. Yeah, it's like people who get $1 million in lottery tickets. Yeah, they're crazy rich at first, but then they're sometimes in a worse state. So if you get this money and don't use it properly, you might lose your house.
Yeah, you're high risk. And I follow this YouTuber. He owns, I don't know, like $2 billion worth of real estate. And he talks about, like the importance of cash flow versus appreciation. And he's like, all these realtors that talk to people and say, hey, you should buy a house only based on appreciation. He's like, those are the most stupidest people, because you're just assuming that the price is going to go up. For example, let's just say you buy a house and it's going to go up in value. You add money to it, so you fix it up and all that. But that money's tied to that house. Unless you sell it, like if you get this money and you fix the house, you put a new thing, unless you sell it, you're going to get that money, which no one's going to sell because everything's so expensive. You probably bought the house for way cheaper. But if you do something smart, like your focus is to build cash flow, which in California, I don't know how it is in other states, you add an ADU or you add 2 ADUs. And now, you have to borrow that money, but immediately you're getting a return. But if you put a new kitchen, you're not going to get any return. The value went up. Yeah, great for you. But you still owe that money. You still live in the house. It's dead money. It's just sitting there.
It's unless you sell it. That's a lot of people don't understand. Yeah, you are, but until you sell it. So it forces you to save, but you can't do anything, because at the end of the day, you sell it, you're still going to have to either rent or do something, So it's like you still need that money. And I don't know. I sometimes think, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and there's so many people that I listen to that are very wealthy and they rent. So you don't have to buy a house to be wealthy. There's other forms, either start a business, maybe having that extra room of money that you have on the side, you can start a business or fund your business more, be able to be more flexible because you got to move or whatever. Yeah. You don't have to tie in your house, because maybe that first house that you get is not going to be your dream house, especially here in California. That house is so expensive. It's not the prettiest house that you want unless you move somewhere far away. So slow down. That's what I have to tell myself, because I do notice that anxiety kicks in. I need a house. But it's just slow down.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super important. Like, honestly, you could even rent a house for like $3,000 and like a 2 or 3 bedroom. and then a 2 or 3 bedroom
and
for
invest the
sale
difference.
is like 7 or 8,000. So that $3,000 or $4,000 difference, is it really throwing away money when you can invest that difference? Because when you buy a house right now with the high interest rates, nothing is going to principal. So that's the most important thing.
So I asked this AI, what is more better in the long term, investing or buying a house? If I put that money for a house, how much am I going to make? Well, historically, looking at the returns of a house versus investing, you usually get around 7 to 10% in the stock market. Compared to the house, appreciation is only roughly 3 to 4%, annually. So historically, even speaking, if you invest versus owning a house, you actually make more money and you're more flexible. You don't have to fix the stock market. You don't have to repairs or this or that. You have a little more flexibility. Yes, you're going to be able to lock in. It's because a lot of people say it's because if you buy a house now, you're locking in, that monthly, which it is true. Like my parents have a 2-story house and what they pay in their monthly is a lot less than what apartments are sometimes nowadays.
1 bedroom apartment, basically.
Yeah. So yeah, you do, but I don't know. Right now we're in a tricky area where they say 50% more expensive owning than renting. That's huge.
It is. I've literally done research. You can find for $3,200 a month, a 2 or 3 bedroom house, like over 1,000 square foot with a yard and everything. To buy a house, to afford a house, you're talking about 5,000-6,000. So like if you ask someone right now, plus you have to put like 50 to 100,000 down payment, plus if stuff breaks, you gotta fix it. Screw that. Like I'd rather just rent right now, because it's just like I'd rather that difference, save, invest, because investment in market is doing great. Even high yield savings accounts are paying, 5-6%. They're not even risky because they're just savings accounts, high yield savings. They're not investments. So if you're scared about investments, start off there. Start off with the high yield savings account. There's a lot of them out there. They're mostly online. But yeah, it's just interesting the time we're in right now. It is also interesting that they're saying this, that Freddy Mack is trying to come up with this to try to pass this bill to see if we can offer, because it's basically a HELOC, but it's trying to match the rate that they have with the mortgage. So that's going to entice a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. I already saw on TikTok when I was searching just to get what the feel out there is, everybody. It's a bunch of real estate. It's like, if I was you right now, call every person that you sold a house the last few years and tell them, hey, did you know about this program? Hey. So I'm pretty sure investors, because they haven't been selling like they used to. Yeah. So I'm sure there's a lot of people who are going to get phone calls of the real estate agent. Hey, did you hear about this?
Yeah, it's an interesting time we're living in. Again, like we always say in all our podcasts and all our episodes, as long as you're smart with the money, you save, you have a budget, you're just fine. Whether you have a house or don't, if you have money in the bank, you have money invested, then you're good. You don't have to worry about it. Pay off that high interest credit card debt. That's not where you want to be in. Over 20%, that's the low end. There's people paying 30 or 40%
on 2 cards.
Yeah, so it's not a place you want to be in. But really, really, I just hope that you guys can really consider everything when you're doing decisions like getting a second loan on a house. Is it really worth it, or should I just save up my money, or should I just pull off? If maybe it's you. Your wife is pressuring you to, I need a new kitchen. I need this kitchen's too old. It's, because I feel like that's something my wife would tell me one day. But I'd be like, you know what? We can't afford it right now. Unless we can pay for it out of our pockets, maybe we shouldn't borrow to do this. Let's hold off a little. Maybe that's you. Yeah. Or maybe it's the other way around. Your husband's pressuring you. But whatever it is, just like think about it long term. Is this really a smart decision for me and my family? Or should I be smart, save my money, and, just be patient, delayed gratification?
Yeah, it's about balance. We still want you to enjoy, have fun, travel, update your kitchen. But if it doesn't make sense, if it's going to put pressure on you, on your family, on your job, on your house, like if you do this, it's going to affect you be able to live here, don't do it. It's more important, your happiness, your health, than whatever thing you might buy. That's material, It's more important your health.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. Don't become a slave to your debt, which is the biggest thing for people is their house. They're house poor because they bought a house because if someone else posted on Instagram and they want to post on Instagram too that they just bought a house. That excitement comes and goes with as soon as you get your first payment that you have to pay. So, and as soon as something breaks, that's where it's like, it's not that easy. So super, super important. Please don't date the rate and marry the house. Do your research. That's what you should do. Real estate agents are great. They help us negotiate, buy houses, get deals. But you should be the one making the decisions, not someone else. You know your family, you know your finances. Don't even just block out the outside noise. Sit down with your wife, your husband, or your kids, your family, and look at it realistically, holistically, everything. Can I truly afford this car, this house, this vacation? We want you to enjoy your life, but we don't want you to get into a lot of debt and be stressful and not be able to sleep at night because of it. So save that money, be smart with the money, make good decisions, and hopefully we'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care.